Produced by Louis Six Cat. Louis Six Cat. Louis Six Cat is a beat-making genius. Don't be shy, subscribe.
Alright guys, here I am at this location where we see Polly walks along here with a record in her hand, talking to herself. She walks along here. Now, this is the start of the scene where she's walking up to the pet shop and she sees Zoo in the pet shop. That pet shop takes place at a whole different spot, right? Which is a whole different spot. That takes place at a whole different spot. Now, then it comes back to this area, not this specific location, spot at this location, but it comes back to this area, right? But in any event, this is where we see Polly walking along here. Here is the actual scene from this film location. Now you can tell this is that location because of off in the background you see this circular awning, this square doorway, right? And then these, which we'll take a closer look at because I think it's a little washed out on the camera right now, but are squares, right? Are like small window squares. Also these two pillars, right, which are now remodeled, right, are covered in like a siding now, but also you could tell by the floor, and this gate wasn't here prior. But this is, you know, clearly and obviously that location. Let's go take a closer look at this window here so you can see what I'm talking about as far as the grates. But check it out. You know, you can tell by this walkway here that she walks along here. And in the movie, there's a garbage can here and a garbage can on the opposite side there. But most notably, you could tell by this circular window that and these square grates, which we'll take a close look at now. Now, just to take a closer look at these grates, these windows, so you can really tell that this is that location. They're black now, but they're green in the movie. You see all these square windows, and also, again, this oddly shaped half a circle window, and that. And then the awning. This is that location where Polly literally walks along here 30 years ago. This is that location. That is where she walks. And this is the surrounding area which more of that scene actually takes place. And we'll take a closer look at that. It's completely surreal to be standing right here though. It's unreal. Just really cool. I don't know. And again, this, I don't know, I mentioned it, but this railing isn't here. and she's talking to herself. This is that location. All right, everybody. Now here is right where Polly and Zoo are standing when he licks the cotton candy off of her face that she makes a mustache of. This is that location. Here is the actual scene from this film location. And the girl, one of his fans come running up. Here is the actual scene from this film location. Alright guys, so this is that location where Polly and Zoo kiss. And we can tell that because right here is where the woman Zoo, the girl, the crazy fan of Zoo comes running up here. We see this square right here up against the wall. You see these windows here and these lines, right? And we see these light bulbs up here. This is clearly that exact location. So this is that location zoomed in. This is that location where the woman that is a fan of Zoo comes running up and is waving her hand. And this, you can see this square right here. You can see these windows with these squares. And you can see these lights. Here is the actual scene from this film location. So this is the location where Polly puts the cotton candy on her face and Zoo licks it off of her face. This is that location. Now these stores were remodeled, right? But clearly, this is that location because of these windows. We could tell this square. It's pretty plain to see. This is that location, right here, where the crazy fan of Zoo comes running up. This is it. And right where you are now is where Polly and Zoo are eating cotton candy and he licks it off of her face, is right there. This is that location. So because of this location here, we know that this, I moved these chairs at one point during this video, just so you know. But that because of this area, this square, and the fan running up right here, we know that this is where Polly and Zoo have the cotton candy scene. It is right here. this is where that cotton candy scene takes place. Right here. So this is the surrounding area. Now the scene where Polly is walking up with the record is over there. But this is where the cotton candy scene is, and the fan is running up right here. And again, we know this because of this whole lineup here. The square, the windows, the lights. Now after the fan chases them, which happens right over there. Now after the fan chases them, which happens right over there, Polly and Zoo, when we see Polly, comes running this way. Here is the actual scene from this film location. This is where that happens, where she comes running. And then she runs into a store which is right off over here, which we'll zoom out and take a look at. Now, we can tell this is the location because of the camera is zoomed a little more, and basically about here, and we see this wall, this line of this wall, and we see these pillars here. This is where Polly comes running up, and then she runs into this store here. This is where that happens. Comes running right along into here, into this store. This is that location. And this is that store 30 years later. It's completely empty and it's rather small, but this is where they're crouched down in the window, right, looking out, and you can tell that there's a wall behind them, right? This is that location. And this is where, like I said, she comes running up. A better angle of this would be kind of like this, of her running up. But this is that location. So, where the fan runs is right there. Where they come running up is right here. And then where Polly is walking with the record is right here. So Polly walking with the record, fan running up the zoo, and Polly right here, also where they eat the cotton candy right here, and where they come running from is right here when they're running from the fan and into this doorway right here and this store. So to explain it as good as I can, this is where Polly comes walking. This is where Polly comes walking with the record right here. Then it cuts to him walking out of a pet shop, Zoo walking out of a pet shop, which takes place at another location, right? But then it cuts back to the location cuts back to here, which is where they're eating the cotton candy and the fan chases them, which is right over here, right? Which is right over there. Then it cuts to them running away from the fan, which is right over here, right? Which is right over here. And then we see them in the parking lot, which is a different location, not here, which I show, where they're kissing, and there's a Kmart sign in the window when the policeman comes knocking up. So that's how they bridge those together. Subscribe to me channel. Follow me on Instagram, on Twitter. Like, leave a comment. Follow me on social media. Louis 6 Cards.